Okay, I've always tried to keep these brief, so my soul's slowly starting to restore itself after after that job. I'm like 5 overdue, and I dare not record them all past midnight. So I'm gonna record this one to let you know I'm alive, and then tomorrow I'll take care of the rest. Hopefully, then I'll do another marathon so that I won't get caught lacking behind again. Anyway, aside from that, you know the drill. If you're starting here, go start from the beginning. At least I'm no longer angry about Shinji. Anyway, lunch break. Our school has a splendid cafeteria, and most of the students take lunch there. But there are also an old-fashioned lot who carry their own lunch with them, and amongst them, that group are me and the student council president sitting in front of me.
Emiya, その唐揚げを一つくれないか。俺の弁当には圧倒的に肉分が不足している。
Emiya, would you give me one of those karage? My lunch is overwhelmingly lacking in meat.
いいけど、なんだってお前の弁当ってそう質素なんだ、一世。いくら寺だからって酒も肉も取らないなんて教えがあるわけでもないだろう。
Yeah, that's fine. But Issei, why have you got such a plain lunch? Temple or no, it's not like they teach you that you can't take meat or alcohol, is it?
何を時代錯誤なことを。これは単に親父殿の趣味だ。
What kind of anachronistic thing is that? This is simply my father's preference.
小坊主に食わす贅沢はない。悔しいのなら己で何とかせよ、などという。いっそ今からでも天祖になるか。俺も考えどころだ。
He says there's no luxury fed to young priests, and if that bothers you, then do something about it yourself or something. I'm starting to think about whether I really want to inherit the temple.
あのじいさんなら確かに。
Yeah, that old guy certainly would say something like that. Issei's dad is the head priest of the Ryudo Temple. He's a big shot who's old friends with Fujine's old man. If he gets along well with old man Fujimura, you can't expect him to have a normal personality.
それは。じゃあ、いつか恩返しを期待して一つ。
Well, anyway, in anticipation of favors returned, here you go. I hold out my lunchbox.
いや、ありがたく。これも托発の修行なり。
Ah, my thanks. This too is mendicancy. Mendicancy? I'd have to look that word up later. Issei bows deeply. How to put it? I'm not sure how to feel when Issei says things like this that remind me that he's the heir to a temple.
そういえばエミヤ、朝方2丁目の方で騒ぎがあったのを知っているか。ちょうどエミヤと別れるあたりの交差点だが。
Ah, come to think of it, Emiya. Did you hear that there was some kind of trouble around 2nd Street? At the intersection right around where we part ways.
交差点?
The intersection? If you mentioned the intersection this morning, it must be the ruckus with all those parked police cars.
なんでもな、殺人があったそうだ。詳細は知らないが、一家4人中助かったのは子供だけらしい。両親と姉は刺殺されたというが、その凶器が包丁やナイフではなく、長物だというのが普通じゃない。
If that's Lancer, then what would the family have to do with that? I heard that they're investigating a murder. I don't know the details, but apparently of a family of 4, only a child survived. They say that the parents and the older sister were stabbed, but the weapon used wasn't a knife, it was some kind of long weapon, which is not normal. A long weapon? You mean like a sword? If it's a murder case, then that means that the parents and the older sister were killed. I can't help but picture it. The dead of night, somebody's broken in. Violence, unfair and undeserved. A robbery as indiscriminate as a traffic accident. The parents cut down, the older sister who died before she even knew what was happening, and the shape of the child drenched in the blood of their family because of it.
一世、それ犯人は捕まったのか？
Issei, have they caught the guy who did it?
捕まってはいないようだな。信徒の方では欠陥工事による事故、こちらでは辻切りめいた殺人事件だ。学校の門限が早まるのも当然。どうしたエミヤ？喉に飯でも詰まったか？
Not as far as I know. Accidents from faulty construction over in Shinto and random killings over here. It's only natural that they'd start closing the school gates early. What is it, Emiya? Did you choke on your food or something?
別に何もないけど、なんだよいきなり。
No, nothing in particular. What is it all of a sudden?
いや、エミヤが厳しい顔をしていたのでな。少し驚いた。すまん。食事時の話ではなかったな。
No, you were just making such a grave face that I was a little shocked. Apologies. This really isn't a lunchtime conversation, is it? Issei apologetically softens the atmosphere. No, really it wasn't anything. But was I really making such a severe face? Then comes a quiet knock on the door of the student council room.
失礼。竜道はいるか？
Excuse me, is Ryudo here?
ああ、はい。何ですか、先生？
Huh? Yes. What is it, Sensei? Issei starts talking with Kuzuki-sensei, who's just come by. It's probably just a simple meeting about the student council, but Issei seems more relaxed than usual. It's something of an unusual sight. In spite of appearances, Issei is a pretty shy guy. Yeah. This guy, who draws the lines with his classmates and teachers both, is unguarded with Kuzuki, who's in charge of the student council.
真面目なとこで気が合うのかも。
Maybe they get along because they're both so serious. Anyway, the homeroom teacher for Class 2A, Kuzuki Soichiro, is serious and straight-laced. Probably he and Issei, who values discipline highly, are on the same wavelength. The two of them keep talking. Even as I watch them, I can't get the murder that I heard about just now out of my mind. There was something wrong with an earlier attempt. Don't mind that. Classes end and it's time to leave school. I have work today, so I can't take any detours. Without sticking around at school, I need to go straight over to the next town, but... I guess what I heard this morning must be weighing on my mind. By the time I realize it, I've come to the archery dojo.
もう何やってんだ俺。
Come on, what am I doing? According to Mitsuzuri, Tosaka Rin comes here pretty frequently. Well, it's not really anything for me to worry about, but if Shinji raises his hand against Tosaka, I think that's a problem.
シンジのやつ、カッとなると止まらないからな。
That Shinji. When he snaps, he doesn't know when to quit. It'd be bad if Shinji turned to violence if Tosaka turned him down. No, I don't know what would be bad exactly, but anyway, it would be. Just picturing such a scene makes me uncomfortable, and I have to stop it if I can.
なんだ、遠坂いないじゃないか。
Tosaka's not here, is she? There's no sign of Tosaka around the dojo. I guess Mitsuzuri's worry was groundless after all.
へえ、誰がいないって？
Oh, who's not here? I instantly turn around.
だから、誰がいないって？
I'm asking, who did you say wasn't here? And Issei, who I just parted with moments ago, is there.
お前か、一世。あんまり驚かすなよな。
Oh, it's you, Issei. Don't sneak up on me like that.
いや、エミヤが挙動不審げに道場を眺めていたからつい。
No, you were staring suspiciously at the dojo, Emiya, so I couldn't help it.
で、誰がいないって？
And? Who did you say wasn't here?
誰って遠坂だよ。なんでも昨日、シンジと一悶着あったらしいんだ。それで、一応様子を見に来ただけだ。
Who? Tosaka, of course. I heard that she had some kind of an argument with Shinji yesterday, so I just thought I'd go check on things, just in case.
ほうほう、挙動不審だな。聞かれてもいないのに理由まで話すなど。俺は誰がいないかと聞いただけなのだが。
Oh? Well, that's very suspicious, even telling me your reasoning when I haven't even asked you. All I asked you was who wasn't here.
なんだよ、別にいいだろ。俺が何しようが俺の勝手だ。
What? It's fine, isn't it? Whatever I'm doing, it's my business.
それはしかり。だが無駄だぞエミヤ。遠坂はここにはいない。なぜなら、あいつは今日ずる休みだ。
Yes, of course. But it's useless, Emiya. Tosaka isn't here. If you ask why, it's because she skipped school today.
何？
What? Skip school? So, in other words, she's absent?
そうか、欠席か。待て、伊勢。なんで遠坂がずる休みなんだよ。あいつがそんなのするわけないだろ。
I see, she's absent, huh? Wait a second, Issei. Why would Tosaka skip school? There's no way she'd do something like that, right?
するとも。あいつが風邪などひくものか。俺が見たところあいつは悪いやつだ。外見に騙されるとパクッと食われるぞエミヤ。
She would indeed. She certainly wouldn't catch a cold. From everything I've seen, she's evil. If you let yourself be fooled by her appearance, she'll swallow you whole, Emiya. Bit much, don't you think? Issei's words get on my nerves for some reason. Yeah, I think he's getting in the bad books of a lot of simps. That said, tell me you're not one of those cult of motivation types. You know, red pill, no maidens, just cringe lords. Certainly I don't know Tosaka, but I can't imagine that she's a bad person.
言い過ぎだぞ、一世。遠坂はそんなやつじゃないだろう。
That's enough, Issei. You know Tosaka's not that sort of person.
ん？なんだ？エミヤも遠坂狙いなのか。ああ、それはすまない。今のは流してくれ。
Oh, are you after Tosaka as well? I'm sorry then. Forget I said anything. After Tosaka? Just who said that?
勝手に決めつけるな。俺はただ、シンジが揉め事を起こしたら大変だから。
Don't just assume things like that. I just figured it'd be real trouble if Shinji picked a fight.
シンジが遠坂に殴りかかろうとしたら止めるためか。またそんな役回りをするな。 別に俺は気にしないが、割と趣味が悪いのだな、エミヤは。
Is chivalry that dead? So you came here to So you came here to stop Shinji if he tried to hit Tosaka. That's an unfortunate job you've saddled yourself with. I don't really care, but you have some pretty strange tastes, don't you, Emiya?
してないから損じゃない。けど、伊勢、お前、今変なこと言わなかった？
I didn't do it, so it's not unfortunate. But Issei, did you say something weird just now?
ん？遠坂狙いは趣味が悪いってことかい？
You mean that chasing after Tosaka is in poor taste?
そう。遠坂は人気あるじゃないか。俺も、あいつの悪い噂は聞かないぞ。
Yeah, Tosaka's pretty popular, isn't she? I've never heard any bad rumors about her or anything.
ああ、聞かないね。それがまた気に食わない。
Yes, you wouldn't, would you? I can't stand that about her either. Issei turns away with a
気
snort.
に食わないって、どの辺がだよ。
Can't stand what about her?
だから全部だよ。あれは女狐だ。女性だ。妖怪だ。とにかく生理的に気に食わない。悪いことは言わないから、エミヤも気に入らないようにしろ。
Oh my goodness, you are one of those types. I'm telling you, it's everything. She's a vixen, a witch, a she-devil. Anyway, I can't stand her on a physical level. I won't say anything bad, but you should make it so you can't stand her either.
いいっせ。人の陰口は良くないって、お前の口癖じゃなかったか？
Issei, aren't you the one who's always saying you shouldn't talk about people behind their back?
たわけ。これが陰口に入るか。俺は聞こえるように喋っている。
Fool, I'm not talking behind anyone's back. I'm talking so I can be heard. Yeah, it's no wonder I can feel stares from the dojo then. Thank goodness. It's definitely a good thing that Tosaka was absent today.
頼む、伊勢。悪いが、早速陰口にしてくれ。
Please, Issei, I'm sorry, but go back to talking behind her back.
エミヤがそういうのなら了解した。
Well, if you say so, then that's what I'll do.
が、とりわけ中傷していたわけではないぞ。単に竜道一世が遠坂凛を警戒していると言っただけだ。あくまで個人の趣味嗜好の範囲だろう。
This guy... He's still a bro to Issei, but I get the feeling that he'd get beat at a community noted a lot on Twitter. But it's not as though I'm slandering her. I'm just saying that Ryudo Issei is on guard against Tosaka Rin, that's all. That's entirely in the realm of personal taste, no?
その割には妖怪だとか女狐だとか言ってたけど。
And yet, for all that, you did call her a vixen and a she-devil, though. And come to think of it, aren't a couple of those obviously discriminatory?
なに、褒め言葉だ。女狐にも妖怪にもいいものはいる。
What? They're words of praise. There are good vixens and witches as well. My brother would have arguments about that with you at length.
あくまで遠坂を表現する値として採用しただけである。
I merely used them as the most appropriate words to describe Tosaka.
かつ。
Cuts. Issei chuckles.
それではな。俺は生徒会室に戻るが、エミヤはバイトだろう。こんなところで道草を食っている暇はなかろう。
Well then, I'm heading back to the student council room, but you have work, don't you? I should think you don't really have time to be loitering around here. I guess saying his piece must have relaxed him. Issei's back is calm and composed as he walks away. I've known him for 2 years now, but honestly, I still can't get a handle on his personality. Yeah, that was some odd behavior all around. "20 minutes after leaving school and getting on the bus, I cross the bridge and arrive in the neighboring town of Shinto.
なんだ、まだ5時前か。少し時間があるな。
It's still before 5. I guess I've got a bit of time. Because it's a residential district, there aren't a lot of part-time jobs to be had in Miyama, but since Shinto is still being developed, there's no lack of work there. Our school allows students to have part-time jobs, so I work a few simple ones. The jobs I prefer are hard physical labor that ends as quickly as possible. Since I can get paid while training my body at the same time, it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. My work today is a simple job carrying baggage from 5 to 8 o'clock. Even though it's only 3 hours, there's 6 hours of work to be done. In any case, I'll be running around non-stop without even a moment's rests. Because of that, even if it's only for 10 minutes, I should get some rest while I can. Just wandering around until it's time is a waste of energy, so I'll go and take a rest in the park. Until it's time for work. The park in the middle of town is just an open space covered with grass and trees. On the weekend it'd be busy with lovers and their parents and their children, but right now there's not a single person here. No, in the first place, at this spot in particular, there's never anyone here.
相変わらずだな、ここは。
This place is the same as always. I'm a little dismayed. Compared to the properly developed area around it, this thoroughly wasted bit of ground is unbelievably shabby. I guess it's been drawn in by this desolate field. The blowing wind is cold too. This is the site of a great fire 10 years ago, and a place where I was saved when I should have burned to death.
なんで芝生とか植えないんだろう。いつまでもこのままってのはもったいない。
I wonder why the grass doesn't grow here. It's a shame to leave it like this forever. A bit of land this big, if they developed it properly, the park would get a lot bigger. Idly thinking that to myself, I sit down on a bench. To pass the time, I look out at the remains of the burned ground. I don't recall any of the things that once happened here. The only things I remember are that it was hot and that I couldn't breathe. That and somebody dying trying to save someone else.
どうしてそうなのかな。
Why is it like that, I wonder? For example, an adult trying to save a child from the collapse of a burning building died in the child's place. For example, there were people whose throats were scorched, and they gave what tiny bit of water they had to one person, and the others died. For example, I ran trying to get away from the fire as fast as possible, and every one of the people I left behind died. And, for example, a person who died giving the thing that was saving them to someone they didn't even know. I can't stand things like that. The people who did their best died anyway makes me angry. Is it greedy to wish for a result where everyone is saved, everyone is happy, and everyone can smile together? All I wanted was to see people breathe peacefully like normal, so why couldn't I even accomplish that much?
それは難しい。シロの言っていることは誰も彼も救うということだからね。
That's difficult. What you're talking about is saving everyone, Shiro. That's how Kiritsugu replied when a young me asked him that. Of course, young me blew up at him. After all, Kiritsugu had saved me, and I knew that he was a magician who could do anything. I knew that he was a hero who couldn't leave suffering people be, who would reach his hand out to them without any kind of compensation. And that's why I believed that even at that time, maybe Kiritsugu could have saved all of them. When I confronted him with that, Kiritsugu looked exceptionally troubled, and then, although he said them only once, he spoke words that strongly stuck with me even now.
シロ、誰かを救うということは誰かを助けないということなんだ。いいかい？正義の味方に助けられるのはね、正義の味方が助けた者だけなんだよ。当たり前のことだけど、これが正義の味方の定義なんだ。
Shiro, saving one person means not saving someone else. Look, the only people a hero can save are the ones that he did save. It goes without saying, but that's the definition of a hero. I understand that. When you put it that way, it goes without saying. Let's assume that there are robbers who have taken hostages, and the robbers intend to kill them. By normal means, the better part of the hostages will probably be killed. Even if, by some miraculous ability, the situation is resolved and all the hostages are saved, there will still be people who can't be saved. In other words, the robbers who had the hostages rescued from them. The only people a hero can save are the people he decides to. That's why even God can't save everyone. Okay, my brother would definitely argue with you at every length about that.
それが天才ならなおさらだ。誰であろうと全てを助けるなんてできなかった。
And all the more if it's a natural disaster. No matter who they were, nobody could have saved everyone. The fire 10 years ago was something like that. Though miraculously saved the way I was, I can't really say anything about it now.
けど嫌だ。
But I don't want that. I didn't want something like that. I'm not interested in salvation that has a limited number of seats from the very beginning. No matter how impossible it is, you have to try. I can't endure people I don't know dying around me like they did then. That's why, if the me who exists now had been there at the fire 10 years ago, no matter how impossible it was, I would have jumped into that fire and...
そのまま無駄死にしてたのが間違いなく。
and died uselessly like that. Make no mistake. That's certain. Good grief, even I know that I'm hopeless.
しまった。ぼんやりしてたら5時になっちまった。
Oh man, I spaced out and now it's already 5 o'clock. I hear a bell chime 5 o'clock. I stand up from the bench and hurry off to work. By the time the work is over, the sun is completely set. It's before 8 o'clock. That I finished work around 10 minutes before I was supposed to is just simply because I worked too hard. Maybe it was because I went to that place before work, but apparently I was working frantically. The place is right in front of the train station, and the night has only just begun. There are plenty of people out walking, and there's no break in the cars traveling down the road.
藤姉にお土産はいいか。
Should I pick something up for Fujine? Nah, I guess it's fine. I look up at the illuminated building as I walk. It's the tallest building in Shinto, so as you'd expect, I can't see the top very well. As I'm just looking up at the building to enjoy the night view, I feel like I see something that shouldn't have been up there.
なんだ今の。
What was that just now? I stop and look up at the top floor of the building. I focus on my eyes and idly stare up at that thing the size of a grain of rice. Yeah, was just thinking, this is where, this is the person that, saw her in the prologue. That looks like somebody that I know. What does it mean? What's she doing in a place like that? With her long hair flowing behind her, she's not doing anything in particular, just looking down on the town. Doesn't seem like she's noticed me. No, it's not even like she can see me. I have unusually good eyes, and I was still only able to see that high after padding my vision with magical energy. I can pick her out because she's standing up there by herself, but there's no way that she could notice me standing down here in a crowd of people on the ground. She's just looking down at the town. Maybe she's looking for something. I can feel a sharp gaze even all the way down here. Forgetting the time, I look up at the girl standing in the empty sky, at the top of that tall tower. She's like a witch looking down on the world below with the moon at her back. With that, I suppose she finished whatever she was doing. She quickly turned away. Her silhouette disappears from the rooftop, and it returns to just a beautiful view of the night.
今の遠坂だったのかな。
That was Tosaka just now, wasn't it? I have no proof, but in the first place, I don't think there's any mistake. There aren't so many girls who stand out like that. And more than anything, I'm not so much of an idiot that I'd mistake the sight of a girl that I secretly admire.
そうか。にしても。
Yeah, but even so... How to put this, you have some weird hobbies, don't you, Tosaka? Unlike Shinto, there's no sign of anyone in Miyama. I wonder if we're gonna run into Gilgamesh here. After 8 o'clock at night, there's no one walking the streets, and the town is totally still. At the intersection is the house I saw this morning. There's no one around, and the no entry tape is still stretched across the door. It's only been a day, but the house has already been deserted like a ruin. The parents and sister are murdered by a burglar. What kind of life is left for the single child left behind? I bite my lip at my powerlessness. Even as I swore to become like Kiritsugu, I can't even do anything about something that happened so close by. Even as I want to help people, in the end I don't even know what I can do. Okay, that's a no on Gilgamesh. I climb to the top of the hill and reach the Emiya house. The lights are on, so Sakura and Fujine must still be here.
ただいま。あれ、藤根だけか。
I'm back. Huh, is it just you, Fujine? Hmm? Ah, welcome home, Shiro! Munching on a rice cracker, Fujine turns around. The TV is boisterously playing some kind of variety show.
もうまたこんな時間に帰ってきて。冬は日が暮れるのが早いんだから、もっと早くに帰ってきなさいって言ったでしょ。
Coming home this late again? The sun goes down early in the winter, so I told you to come home earlier, didn't I?
だから早く帰ってきてるだろ。8時までのバイトを選んでるんだから、これ以上無茶言わないでくれ。
I am home early. I took a job that goes until 8, so it's unreasonable to ask for anything more than this.
で、さくらはどうしたんだよ。なんか晩飯の支度だけはできてるみたいだけど。
So where's Sakura? It looks like dinner's been made up, but...
さくらちゃんなら早めに帰ったわよ。今日は用事があるからって晩ご飯だけ作ってくれたの。
Sakura-chan went home early. She said she had an errand to run today, so she just made dinner. Oh. That was a bad delivery. Sakura-chan went home early. She said she had an errand to run today, so she just made dinner, Fujine says happily. For her, anybody who makes food for her is probably a good person.
そっか。確かにしばらくはその方がいいかもしれないな。最近は物騒だし、いっそ新学期まで晩飯は俺が作ろうか。
I see. Certainly that might be best for a while. It's been dangerous lately, so why don't I make dinner until the new term starts?
反対。シロ帰ってくるの遅いじゃない。それからご飯作ってたら食べるの10時過ぎになっちゃうよ。
Definitely not. You're always coming home, You're always late coming home, Shiro. If you make dinner after that, we won't eat until after 10.
あのね、そこに自分家で食べるという選択肢はないのか、あんたは。
Now wait a minute, you. You don't have the option of eating at your own house?
だからここが私の家だよ。
What? This is my house? Fujine tilts her head quizzically. To be honest, I'm not sure if that makes me happy or sad.
わかったよ。藤姉に飯を作れなんて無理難題を言ってもしょうがねえ。
Good grief, I get it. And I can't very well tell you to cook dinner yourself, now can I?
それはいいけど、足元のそれなんだよ。また余計なものを持ってきたんじゃないだろうな。
That's fine, but what's that at your feet? You haven't brought home something useless again, have you? Fujine has an incorrigible bad habit of leaving junk we don't need around the house. Like an enormous bowl we have no way of using that she got from a family restaurant, or a heavy teapot that she got in the shopping district, or a suspicious guitar that plays by itself. Anyway, she has this tendency to think of my house like it's some kind of shed.
ちょっと見せてみろ。ゴミだったら捨てるから。
Show me that for a sec. If it's garbage, I'm gonna throw it out.
これ？うちで余ったポスターだけど。
This? Well, it's just a poster that was left over at my place. Here, she says, handing me the poster. It's probably a poster of an enka singer that they couldn't sell most of or something.
どれどれ？
Let's see here. Excuse me. Here, look at this. Against a cheap-looking blue sky background, a smiling young man in an army uniform is giving a thumbs up. And then in bold blood red lettering, "Love's lovely Ranger Land. Please join the self-defense forces." Wait, this is a recruitment poster for the self-defense forces, isn't it?
それいらないからあげるね。
I don't need it, so you can have it.
俺だっていらねえよこんなの。
Hey, I don't need something like this either. I quickly roll the poster back up, and with a thump, I try to smack Fujine on the head with it.
へへん、外れ。
You missed. But that Fujine, with a second poster that she'd been hiding, she splendidly sweeps my strike aside and counterattacks mercilessly. Clang. The poster lightly strikes me square in the where, Shiro? Stars. I'm seeing stars. She 100% got his special place.
シロの腕で私に当てようなんて甘いわよ。悔しかったらもうちょっと腕を磨きなさいね。
You were naive to think you could hit me with those skills of yours, Shiro. If that bothers you, you should polish your skills a little more.
そんな問題じゃないだろう今の。なぜに紙のポスターがかような破壊音を。
That's not the problem here, is it? Why did a paper poster make a clang like that? Could this be the master's technique that lets one cut through disposable chopsticks with the paper bag they come in?
あ、ごめん。こっちのポスター初回特典版なんで豪華鉄板仕様だった。
Sorry. This poster is a special edition first printing, so it's made from this deluxe steel plate.
シロ、頭大丈夫？
Is your head okay, Shiro? I'm gonna state for the record, head can still mean special place.
藤ね、いつか絶対に人を殺すぞ。その性格。
Fujine, one of these days your personality is going to kill somebody.
えへへ、その時はシロがお嫁にもらってくれるから安心かな。
If that happens, I'll just have you marry me, so I'm not worried. I feel like I'm using the wrong JonTron meme here, but I have several questions.
全速でお断りです。そんな天然殺人鬼を相方にもらう気はないやい。
Ha, no chance. I have no intention of marrying someone old enough to be my teacher, much less a natural-born killer.
うん、私そんな物騒なのじゃないと思う。
I don't think I'm such a dangerous person. The FBI would disagree.
やっぱり、得てしてそういう連中は自覚がないっていうのは本当だったのか。
I knew it, so it really is true that people like that aren't aware of it themselves. Heaven help me. I have to be careful or one day I'm gonna be killed too.
ふんだ、言ってなさい。そんなことよりシロ、私お腹減った。今まで待ってたんだから早くご飯の用意しよう。
Say whatever you want. More importantly, Shiro, I'm starving. I've been waiting until now, so let's get the food ready. With an alrighty, Fujine stands up. That's unusual. For Fujine to help out, even if it's just with setting the table, there's no mistake that she must be starving.
はいはい。じゃあ藤姉は皿と茶碗な。ご飯ぐらい告げるだろ。
Fine, fine. Well then, get out the plates and bowls, okay? You can at least serve rice, right?
告げるよ。ねえシロ、私丼でいいかな。
Of course I can. Hey Shiro, do you mind if I make it donburi?
いいんじゃないか。今日はさくらもいないし、どうせ飯は余るし。
Yeah, I don't see why not. Sakura's not here anyway, so there's gonna be some left over anyway.
よしよし。それじゃ、シロもお揃いね。
Alright, then I'll make up the same for you, Shiro. Fujine shovels the rice into a pair of large bowls. Well, I guess it's fine. I was gonna have seconds anyway, and if I argue with what Fujine's doing, she really will take my dinner away. And besides, chaotic dinners like this have become a totally natural scene here these last few years. These last few years. Okay, and now seems like a good point to end it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll do my best to get back on track, and see you next time.